Hello everyone, welcome to the Civilization 5 Military Academy. Your hosts for this video are Madjun and Bibor.
Hi guys and girls.
And today we're actually going to look at the very first save game given to us. Kamex, or Kamex, however you want to pronounce that, was the first one up over on the CFC forums. And he writes, may I share my latest immortal attempt? Started with a 2-city start and got to chivalry as fast as possible. Then rushed Rome. Wanted to attack America, but held off until RA complete, so research agreement. Then dowed, so declaration of war. But by then I lost my tech advantage. I still ended up taking New York to consolidate my kingdom, then made peace. I have about 9 cities, but only founded 3, so was thinking of going cultural. Just hit acoustics, so going for freedom next, but not sure if I have enough culture to win, as I lack Stonehenge/the Oracle. Lots of puppet, mud mosque, and monastery culture coming in, though. Right, so that's what he's been asking us about. So potential for cultural victory, and is he ready, is he able to go for it? So as you can see here, he's playing the Songhai, who get triple gold from barb encampments and pillaging cities, and embarked units can defend themselves. He is playing on the continents map, and so he should only have a few AI that were close to him, and the rest will be somewhere else on the map. It is a standard sized map. We don't know if he's got specific changes to that, but I don't believe so. And it's on Immortal, of course, on a standard time. Obviously, oh, there is details. Details work. All victory conditions are available, and that's all the information we got. And he did start in the Ancient. So, where do we want to go from here, Bibor?
Well, first, I want to congratulate him on completely wiping off Rome from the map, because that's what he did. And I would like to look at the map first. So let's see what cities he has, how they are placed, and how many cities he has, and so on. And let's first look at what he did so far.
Okay, so we're centered around Gao. And as you can see, he's got Jen to the north of him, sitting on a couple iron, which is always a good thing if you're looking for swordsmen. He's got Timbuktu underneath Gao, as well as looks like there's some puppet Neapolis, Cumae, and Rome. And then a little lower there's Antium in New York. Obviously, he's just recently picked up New York with some long swords and Mandukav. And he's got a great general down there as well.
Yep, it's quite a big empire. It's on a river, so lots of income, future income as well. He has only 3 his own cities, so that will immensely help in his attempts to go for a cultural victory. As you know, puppets do not count into the culture needed for social policies, so any culture that a puppet makes is just a bonus, like, you know, having a cultural city-state working in your favor. So
and he definitely has one of those. He's picked up Seoul, which is cultural city-state ally.
Yes, he did. That he did, and I think it happened this turn, the turn he submitted for our review. I would like to note that his scouting could have been better.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, if you look at the map, many areas, even around his own cities, are unexplored. There's an unexplored city-state in the north.
As you can see, he does have a pikeman here, right beside Jen. I don't know if this was forgotten about. I do that myself once in a while. Units are out there. But if you see, if we walk right over here to this hill, you meet Budapest, which is a militaristic city-state that's allied to France. And yet it's right beside his capital.
So scouting is immensely important in this game, and he's going to have to find the other civs. He's going to have to find all those cultural city-states, because in my opinion he's going to need the help or aid of cultural city-states to get a cultural win. in this game.
Absolutely. A puppet empire definitely helps, especially since they'll all produce the Mud Pyramid Mosque, which is a special building for the Songhai. They get you 5 culture per turn for basically free.
Yes, they do. And not only that, but the income that will come from these puppet cities will also help in gaining more cultural city-state allies, because a lot of money is going to be crucial for not only gaining those allies, those cultural city-states, but also preventing the AIs for going for other types of victory. Most dangerous one would probably be the diplomatic victory, so he will have to fight for the favor of other city-states as well.
Yeah, I agree. And as you can see here with Antium, it actually has 3 incense around it, and it's building a monastery in 2 turns at 4 pop. So for the mixed gold plus culture, that's a very good spot that he picked up.
Indeed, it is. So, looking at the map, I think we can both conclude that this is a very strong empire. It's not going to have any trouble with the Americans, which are at the southern and western borders. I think the Americans are weakened enough to prevent any serious damage or war coming from their side, and I don't see any other neighboring other civs. So, as far as his empire goes, he's pretty safe, and his empire is strong enough to generate a lot of income and technology in quite for until basically the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely. So shall we move on to diplomacy?
Yes, let's look at the diplomacy.
Okay, so I'm going to first go into the global politics. This is a great way to see where everything is going. You can see that Ramses here is at Tradition 4 and Patronage 1. Ramses has a long list of wonders here, and you can kind of check the wonder versus the tech that they have. So for here, they have the Porcelain Tower. For them to have picked that up, they'll actually be much further ahead tech-wise than education, where you pick it up. So you can kind of get a hint, because they don't necessarily pick up the wonder as soon as they hit the tech. Most of the time, they'll be well on their way to other techs by the time they pick up that wonder.
And turns out you're right, because if you look at the demographics tab, Egypt is quite ahead in tech base. But let us return to the diplomacy screen.
Okay, in the diplomacy, oops, let me get back into the overview. Napoleon also, and as you can see what era they're in. All 3 of them are into Renaissance at the moment. Napoleon picked up Liberty 4, Honor 4, so obviously they want to fight. And they expanded, which is fairly common for Napoleon, realistically. They did pick up the Great Library, but it's probably an early tech, so it won't really matter. Washington here, also in Renaissance, they have Tradition 2, Honor 3, so they do want to fight, but they happen to have Stonehenge, and that's very likely in their capital.
And yes, it is. As you can see on the map, Stonehenge is just north of Washington. So it might very well be beneficial to grab that wonder and Washington and maybe some other city as well.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. Now, in his original post, he was talking about, he might have been behind tech-wise for the literacy rate if you look at demographics. So he's literacy number 4 ranked. Obviously, with Rome dead, they're still messing everything up. Soldiers-wise, he's number 5. And given that standard map, he's probably got the worst. He's slightly above the average, but again, the average has got about 0. And Napoleon has the most military. He does have the second most land, though. And somebody who he hasn't met yet actually has the most land. And everything else he's fairly low, which is fairly common for this point of in the game. It's really hard to beat the AI to gold per turn and production per turn early in the game. So he does say that he recently picked up a peace agreement with Washington because he was falling behind in tech, but all I see on the map, if you want to look at from a war perspective, is a bunch of cities that only have 13 to 17 defense. I mean, Philadelphia has 18, and that's the highest it's got. And there is a American longswordsman on the map, but that's right beside Seoul, who has cannons.
Yes, that's true. He is not that far behind. And we also need to take into consideration that his lands, due to all the wars, are unworked still, well, except for Gao and Timbuktu. So once he upgrades, once he places all the tile improvements he needs to have, these cities will become really powerful. This is also true for the Roman lands which he conquered, because these lands have even less tile improvements. It seems like Rome didn't really invest into these. So once these are all up, his empire will be quite powerful in both tech and production.
Yeah. And I can see that the military force that he has a number of longswordsmen. He's got a few Mandukav. He could easily overrun some of these cities that the Americans has. Even if they do start pushing out higher tech units, they'll be doing that slowly. And if you can see, it is always a pain to want to build out workers after you've started and built your first couple. So what I like to do is go pick up the workers from the AI as I'm warring with them. And as you can see, Seattle has 2 workers beside it. And that would be a wonderful thing to pick off. And therefore you can get your economy going and make your empire much bigger.
Indeed. So let us open technology screen.
Yeah.
So he has most of the medieval era techs. He's actually lacking just machinery, and he just discovered acoustics, as he says in his post, which means he can now either go gun for some more military techs, which would be in this case gunpowder, machinery, and chemistry. Maybe rifling, but I don't think that would be necessary. But actually, I would rather go for archaeology myself, and scientific theory, and economics, because the upper part of the tech tree is what is really important if he is aiming for cultural victory. I don't know. What do you think, Majin?
I definitely agree with that to a point. If you want culture, you need to pop all the way up through archaeology as soon as you possibly can. And even for being on a continent's map, one of the fastest way to go meet everybody is to pick up astronomy. And then you might want to, still be able to fight people on your own continent, but you can actually go meet all the other AI on the planet and do research agreements with them to pop through the rest of the technologies that you need up there. And that's actually where I would definitely want to focus for research agreements. And part of the archaeology tech that's really important for a culture victory is not just museum everywhere, but getting a Hermitage into your capital, as well as getting the Louvre. Those 2 free grade artists are great for when you settle them in your capital city, where you have the Hermitage for the plus 100%, you have the freedom policy for the other plus 100%, as well as all of the other base culture that you would normally get.
Indeed, I think that if he's really trying to get a cultural victory, at this point, going to more wars, I think, will not be as useful. Getting to archaeology, especially since he's a little bit backwards in tech, would be the first priority. Even if he's being attacked, as you say, by Washington with cannons, because yes, it might very well be the case that Washington's back isn't broken yet, so he can still produce a lot of units. But given the open terrain around New York and Antietam, it should be rather easy to use the superior strategy tactics a human player can make compared to the AI, and kill all those units that might come from Chicago, Washington, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and so on.